Hello and welcome to our E3 2016 predictions from Bombchu.com, of course. With me is Austin.
Hello.
And I'm Andron, and we're just going to discuss some of the hopefully upcoming games, maybe some predictions, maybe some other stuff. I don't know. But here we go.
All right, so we're going to start off with Bethesda. They had a really good show last year. They had a lot of games that just came out, so there's a lot of potential for what they have on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, last year they had, Fallout 4, Doom, which is fucking good. I mean, there's no denying that Doom is amazing. People like Fallout 4, I don't know, it's a Fallout game, it's big, it's gonna take a long time to beat, but, I mean, this year, it has to be, like, a new Elder Scrolls, right? Like, there's, what do you think?
I'm hoping for a new Elder Scrolls. It's been 5 years since Skyrim came out. Skyrim came out 5 years after Oblivion came out.
Yeah.
As soon as Skyrim was done, they may not have gone full force on making a new game, but you know that they've been working on one.
Yeah,
have to have been. I'm not sure, just because they've been keeping it so tight-lipped, but at the same time, Fallout 4 got announced and then released a few months later.
Yeah?
Which was very unlike Bethesda, but...
Well, what's also interesting is, like, it has been doing their own stuff. Like, it has been doing, like, Castlevania... not Castlevania, what am I thinking? It has been doing Wolfenstein and all that,
right.
You know, Return to... whatever that last game was called, I forgot the name.
The New Order.
The New Order, right. So I don't know if it's time for another Wolfenstein game? It's like so close to Doom?
So, I've been thinking about that as well. Wolfenstein was really good. I don't know how it performed, but I think it performed well enough for them.
Critics liked it. That's all that usually matters.
I think a lot of people didn't really expect it to be really good, but then all of a sudden it was just kind of out. It was good, and I think it's picking up more steam as it goes on sale more.
Yeah.
People are finding out about it and going, wow, this game's actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
The way that game ended, I don't know if there's going to be another Wolfenstein.
Oh,
unless
okay.
they just kind of start from scratch or do maybe a side story or something like that. But it seemed to wrap up pretty definitively.
Really? I may have to play through these then.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend it. Especially... if you like Doom, and Doom is the representation of an old-style shooter. Wolfenstein did a good job of that. Doom took it to a new level, but Wolfenstein was kind of what proved that worked.
Yeah.
And just to have that 1-2 punch from them one year after another was really cool. I don't know how long they're going to be able to... if they can continue to bank on that, because...
They can keep doing it, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
the
nostalgia hits you, and you're like, oh man, these old franchises, that's really cool. But at the same time, they took something old and made it new, and that's really cool when you do it once. Doing it again, I don't know if it would have the same effect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, because Doom is great, and I think what people are starting to want now is actually the same thing, which they usually complain about. Like in movies right now, we're having the whole Ghostbusters fiasco where people want the original, but we can't have it anymore because a lot of those guys are just not with us. And then another thing, like we had the Star Wars, the restart, and suddenly, we basically got the same movie. People are like, well... something new. And so the same thing was going to happen with Doom, where we basically got another Doom. It's kind of like a weird sequel kind of thing, like playing through, like they do make allusions to other stuff, but they can't keep just rehashing stuff they expect to stay relevant.
That's true.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job of taking certain things from the old games, like the suit, they're just running really fast, not reloading, things like that.
Yeah.
They took the right stuff from the old games, and they added the right stuff from modern design, and it was this crazy good marriage of ideas. I think that we could start to see that spreading into other games, where it's no longer... we need to make everything as realistic as possible, and animations should take this long. And we may start to see other games take a step back and say, okay, well, these modern ideas are really good, but games, this part of games back in the day were just so good and so perfect that
That's true.
that they it's something that may need to just be accepted again as, well, this is part of game. Like, oh, he doesn't reload. That's not realistic. Well, it's a game. And, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And, I mean, we kind of got off topic here a little bit, but at the same time, I think it needs to be said because Bethesda is harnessing gameplay. Like, they're taking what used to work, what maybe worked at some point, and they have one of the greatest studios for computer games, like id Software, who revolutionized so many different things, and they're saying, okay, go make what you used to make it good, do what you want to do. And even though people were crying about, like, there's not as much modding, blah, 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 there's still so many people playing and making snap map packs and all that stuff, and mazes with, like, text stuff. Like, they're playing the game, so obviously whatever they decided to do worked. So, I guess it comes down to, like, what can they do this year? Besides, like, I doubt they're going to do a Doom expansion just from what I've played so far, but they could do, like, hey, here's DLC, 'cause there's going to be DLC. There's no way they're not going to do
they have
something.
a season pass, but it seems to be multiplayer focused.
Yeah.
It would be great to see some more single-player content, just because it's really good.
Wolfenstein had single-player DLC, right? Or
It did. It had one standalone expansion, the Old Blood, and it was okay. I didn't really love it. A lot of what made the main game special was kind of lost when they made that. And I mean, that happens with a lot of DLCs where it's just like, different studio's going to make it, or this is just an afterthought idea or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
The popularity is there, the demand is there, people want more.
Yeah.
And so they just do what they can to make more, but sometimes it's not what you started with.
Exactly.
So.
And that's what it comes down to. I mean, like, people are always going to cry about, like, I want this special feature, I want this specific thing in there, but they have to look at the whole audience, not just you as an individual when they have to make the DLC. I love DLC for Doom. I don't think we're seeing it at E3.
Yeah.
I expect some kind of Fallout DLC, although they've already done like 2 or 3, I think. Like
I'm not
Far
sure
Harbor.
how many they've done. They just did
and
Far
the
Harbor.
robot one guy. The robots.
I know they have a few more planned that they've announced.
Yeah, I'm sure part of the season pass.
Yeah. It's interesting that you said they take old games and make them good. Pretty much most of their games that they are doing at the moment are very old franchises.
Exactly.
Wolfenstein, Doom, Elder Scrolls, and Fallout.
Yeah.
It's just like, whoa. But they also have their new franchises like Dishonored. So Dishonored 2
Dishonored
is
2.
definitely going to be something
I
that's
completely
heavily
forgot.
featured. Yeah. So a few years ago, they showed off Prey 2, and then that just kind of got unceremoniously canceled. It was having development troubles. Recently, there's been a re-trademarking, or like the Prey 2 website now redirects to a secret Facebook page that people think may go live during E3 if Prey 2 has been resurrected. I know that's been kind of a passion project, both from the developers and fans of Prey. Prey was a very flawed game, but it had some interesting things going on for it, and the people who liked it really liked it. So we may possibly see Prey 2 at Bethesda.
Yeah, I forgot they actually had talked about that recently, so I guess that will... I will put 100% Andron guarantee that's going to be there. There's no way they're not doing Prey 2.
If Prey 2 is still alive, 100% it's going to be at E3 this year.
if it's still alive, 50% chance that it is, 100% chance to be there. Awesome. Another thing, I just looked up on their wiki, Evil Within was also published by them.
I forgot about that.
And that game was awesome. The DLC ended, I want to say the middle of last year. I think it was when the last one came out. So I think...
I'd say that was a fairly successful title. I could see them doing a sequel to that.
I could see, because I don't know how the guy works, but I'm pretty sure... I forgot his name.
Shinji Mikami?
Shinji Mikami, there you go. I'm pretty sure the way he worked on Resident Evil was he did what Final Fantasy does and everyone else. They start working on the next game immediately afterwards, even if it's not going to go off. They're going to go like, okay, let's start working on it. So, it's been 2 years. If they don't change the engine, maybe upgrade the graphics, we could see maybe some teaser. or I'd say Evil Within 2, or maybe the Eviler Within, or Darkness Inside, or some variation of Evil Within or House will be used to make like a new title for Shinji Mikami, because if he's I guarantee he's dedicated to Bethesda by now, so I think there's some way for him to be like, okay, let's keep making games together, you know?
Even if he's not working with them, he's working on something.
Yeah, something has to come.
He loves making horror games.
But that'd be my dream prediction, because I love the Evil Within. I beat it very quick. Well, not very quickly, but I beat it pretty soon after it came out. I was happy with it. Mm-hmm. Very happy with it, because it reminded me of Resident Evil 4 and 1, kind of, but it was also a little more twisted, kind of like Silent Hill, to where there's more mindfuck. Mm-hmm. And that's the main thing I look for in horror games, like mindfuck. I want to walk away going, I didn't expect a room full of blood, but thank you. So that's what I expect. So I'm going to put my money on definitely Bethesda putting, like you said, Prey 2, Evil Within 2, and DLC for the rest. I honestly don't think they're doing Elder Scrolls. Like, it feels like such a big game. They also have the online game. I don't know if they're dedicated to that.
That's true. Yeah, they have Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, I could see them maybe detailing like a new expansion
something
to
make
something.
It good or better.
I don't know. I don't know if they can fix that at this point. But
I don't think it's a bad game, but it definitely wasn't.
It just
Elder
doesn't draw me
Scrolls.
to come back in.
Right. It didn't feel open enough. I understand MMO. It has some rules.
Yeah, and I mean combat. Yeah. Some stuff just takes way too long to kill. Again,
dude.
That's MMOs.
My God. Yeah.
But it for what it was, it didn't feel as much like an MMO as other games.
Yeah, it was a bit closer.
In a good way. And it did. They got a lot of the design, just the look and feel right.
I agree.
Just some MMO isms don't belong in the Elder Scrolls, and they kind of take away what make Elder Scrolls a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, even playing it, I did feel a little Elder Scrollsy, going around, but at the end of the day, I was like, I'm grinding, I'm doing quests, I'm turning it in for experience, I'm going out to grind, I'm killing 6 of these things, 7 of those things, End of the day, it's an MMO. So, for those that like to play it, good on you. I just cannot get into it, man. I heard the Dark Brotherhood came out finally, so maybe I'll come back. If I get to murder people in their sleep, as usual.
Shadow Mirror again.
Oh, yeah. I come back for that. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess that's really it, right? Anything else you expect?
I'm not expecting the Elder Scrolls 6, but I'm hoping for it, and I think it's definitely a distinct possibility.
Yeah.
Especially with just, like I said, like how they revealed Fallout 4 a few months before launch.
Yeah.
I think I don't think they did that by accident. I think they did that very much on purpose.
It was strategic, for sure.
I think that's going to be how they reveal the next Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time, and they know there's demand for Elder Scrolls all the time.
You were correct.
We'll see.
All right, so I guess our final predictions for that would be Prey 2, hopefully.
Prey 2, hopefully. Dishonored 2, for sure.
For sure. Evil Within 2, if dreams come true.
Maybe.
If dreams come true. And then, more than likely, hopefully, I don't see why not Elder Scrolls, of course.
Something to do with Elder Scrolls. Online or Elder Scrolls 6.
And then DLC for stuff.
Yeah.
All right.